Oh Hashem, we are in the introduction of the Siddur Zichron Dovid, and we got to page 55 with the Tamid offering. Okay? Very good.
We are commanded by Hashem to bring sacrifices that have deep, powerful Kabbalistic secrets. The sacrifice includes the four elements of creation. Because we do not have the Beis HaMikdash, our prayers are the replacement for the Tamid offering and other sacrifices. When we say them with our lips, it has a similar effect of them actually being done. Below is a brief description of what one should meditate on while reciting the offering. So,
this introduction here, by the way, it's a translation of the Rashash. It's a summary, not the exact words, but it's a summary and translation of the words of the Rashash, called Akdamat Korbanot with the Rashash. And this giving us an understanding not only about the offerings in the Beit HaMikdash, it gives us an understanding about the structure of the creation. What is the different levels of within the creation? Obviously, like we say many times, the physical parallel to the spiritual. So from the same structure of the physical, same thing, we have parallel structure within the spiritual. Okay? So we're starting with the minerals, right? Then we have the plantation, vegetation, animals, and human beings, right? That's the four levels of the creation. In the Kabbalah, it's called Das Cham. What is Das Cham? Domem, Tzomeach, Chai, Medaber. Domem is everything that is still. Tzomeach is everything that grows. Chai is all the life, all the animals, fishes, whatever, everything, all of that. Insects as well. And human beings. Okay? There is those that are adding on top of that there is another level of creation, which is a prophet. Somebody that he got to the level of prophecy is manifesting a higher level than a regular human being. That's one of the commentaries. We don't have it here, but it's brought down in different books. Anyhow, so within the sacrifices, we have representation of each one of those levels, right? Let's read about it.
When talking about minerals, like salt, it is a tikkun for the nefesh, which is in the liver.
Okay, so we have the minerals is salt, the tikkun is for the level of the nefesh, right? Reminding whoever was not around, we have the chart in the beginning of the book that gives the levels of the nefesh or neshama to understand what's the levels between them, the relationship between them, and so on. So we have the tikkun of the nefesh, and also within every part, it has a parallel part within the inner organs of human being, right? So the nefesh is related to correspond to the liver, okay, kaved.
Any particular reason why it's salt that corresponds to the nefesh?
Because the within the offerings in Beit HaMikdash, salt would be part of the offerings.
Right, but
so
what's his relationship with what's the relationship of salt with the nefesh? The same way as olive oil is with the ruach.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That the salt is the minerals. So that's the bottom level.
Okay. Minerals.
And the nefesh is the bottom level. Then we're going up.
Inanimate objects that have no.
Right.
Vegetation, like olive oil, wine, grains. This is a tikkun for the ruach, which is in the heart.
Okay. So again, the next level up is the vegetation, plantation, and within the Beit HaMikdash, that would be represented by the olive oil, wine, and grains, and that gives for us the tikkun for the level of our ruach, and within the human being it will correspond to the heart. Okay, it's brought down in the Arizal that the Ruach resides within the heart of a man. Okay? Animal, yeah.
Like the sheep. Tikkun of the neshama, which is in the brain.
Right, so the sheep is obviously not only sheep, all the animals, right? Sheep, goats, whatever was offered in Bet HaMikdash. So that will give the Am Yisrael, the person that is bringing the sacrifice, tikkun for the neshama. And the Arizal explains that the place where the neshama dwells is within the brain of a person. Okay? So this is the next level up. Now we got to the highest level,
which is the human sacrifice. No.
God forbid.
The human, which is an act of confession. It's a tikkun for the chaya, which is the surrounding light around the person.
So when the person is coming to the Bet HaMikdash with a sacrifice, as he is saying over confession for the sins that he did, the reason that he brings the offering, so he is bringing out his humanly quality, right? What is the human quality? Speech. So when we are speaking, we are using our humanity, the fact that we're humans. Now, when all of that is coming together, right? The sacrifice that contains the minerals, vegetation, animal, and the confession of the person. So it builds up and it creates a higher level of tikkun. So that will be the tikkun of the chaya, which is the very, very high level, right? If you see in the beginning the chart in the cover of the Siddur, so you will see that the chaya corresponds to the world of Atzilut, which is basically the highest world. But we have another step above that, which is the kavanah
of the Kohen doing the sacrifice.
Meaning, after the person that he brings the offering and saying the confession, there's also the intention of the heart of the Kohen that is performing the offering, right? If somebody is bringing an offering and there's no Kohen that will do the offering, he cannot get the atonement. The atonement have to be coming with the service of the Kohanim.
But he doesn't reach any sort of atonement, like any of the five out of four.
Okay, I wouldn't say that he's not getting anything, but he's not gaining the full potential of tikkun that he should have get with his offering.
So there is a concept that if you do a sacrifice, even if it's not with a coin, you do get something.
Right. So the kavanah of the Kohen doing the sacrifices
is a tikkun for yechidah, the highest level of the soul.
Right. So again, we have from bottom up nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechidah. Right. The nefesh is the minerals, which is the soul that is coming to the Bet HaMikdash. The ruach is the one level up, that is the vegetation, which is the grains, the wine, so on, that comes to the Bet HaMikdash. The animals that comes, that will be the neshama, tikkun for the neshama, and that is the next level up. And then we have the confession, which is the level of humans that we can speak, that will give the level of tikkun of chaya, and the intention of the Kohen that is doing the offering, that will be the highest level of the yechidah. Okay?
And then comes the fire. The fire consumes the offering and removes the impurities of the blood. The offering creates...
Okay. So, fire meaning, after we're doing all of that from below, that followed by the answer of Hashem. Okay, so when we say offering, it means we offer it to Hashem, and it says in Chazal that in the time of Beit HaMikdash there was fire coming from heaven and burning and eating all of the offerings in the altar. So this is for us when we are making the similarity between that process of what happens with the offering in Beit HaMikdash and what happens to us when we are praying every day. So this is the part of refinement of the blood. Okay, what does it mean, the refinement of the blood? So we spoke in the beginning of the introduction of the Siddur that the nefesh, our nefesh, is within the blood. Right? And the blood have the pure blood and have the, I'm not sure how to translate achirut, like impurities of the that is within the blood, right? And it's interesting that today that like blood test became to be such a big thing, right? That there's experts of blood that they basically saying that everything you can see in the blood of the person, whatever it is, so like we say many times, whatever is in the physical, the same thing in the spiritual, right? So all of our physical being is represented within the ingredients, the fine ingredients of the blood. Also, our spiritual being is related to the blood, spiritual part of the blood, which is the nefesh. So as much as we are trying harder to put our heart and being in our prayer, this is giving us this process of refining our blood, our nefesh, our being, right? So this is the result of everything. After we're doing all what we can, the result of it's coming from Hashem. Yeah, it's not something that it's in our hands that we have the control over it. We're doing our part of doing the preparation. This is offering, to offer whatever it is that we have to offer to Hashem. And then we're praying to Hashem to have mercy on us and to take this offering and to burn all of the impurities of ourselves, of the blood, of the world, right? So that should be the answer for all our prayers. And as much as there is more purity, so we are able to elevate to a higher level, obviously. We are able to connect to Hashem in a higher level of our being, because we are more pure, right?
The offering creates a gap into the spiritual worlds, thus protecting the Kedusha from the Klipa.
Right. So, as much as we are bringing more purity, so there is less space for the impurity to grab onto, right? As much as there is more dirtiness, so there is more germs that are holding to the dirtiness, right, in the physical. So the same thing in the spiritual. As much as we are doing our preparation and with Hashem's help all of those impurities are getting burned, so this is like sterilizing and cleaning ourselves and the world. So then we have the much better possibility to do all the good things that we want to do in the world, right? As much as there is more impurities and there's more negativity, so there's more things that are holding back ourselves and the world. As much as we are part of this process of refinement, and this is basically the process of redemption, so we are bringing the revelation of the light of Hashem. That's all what it's about, right?
Just as when the temple stood, fire would come down from on high and consume these things, so too now, by reciting the offerings, a spiritual fire descends and burns up the dirt of these aspects within the person reciting them.
Okay. Good. So that's basically what we explained. And then we have the parasha of the Parashat Hatamid, right? And after that, in the end of the Parashat Hatamid, we have the words Isher Nichoach LaHashem. You see that in the page 57. So when we're saying those words Isher Nichoach LaHashem, this is a very, very special meditation of elevation of the worlds, right? So whoever was with us when we were doing the introduction, so we spoke about the elevation of the worlds within the name of Hashem. That was in page no, there's no pages, but when we spoke about the Mikdash practice, the vows meditation of the Merkava, that was also related to that, but more specifically here. Mikdash practice, elevation through the name of Hashem. Right? Here. This is the page. So, the same thing we're doing when we're saying the words Isher Nichoach LaHashem. Okay? So we are basically elevating the world of Asiyah to the Yitzirah, both of them together to the Bria, three of them together to the Atzilut, and all of that to connect to the light of the infinity of Hashem. Yeah? So when we're saying the word Isher, this is the first step, which is the elevation of the Asiyah to the Yitzirah. When we're saying the second word Reach, that will be the second step of bringing the Asiyah and the Yitzirah together up to the Bria. When we're saying the word Nichoach, it will be the three of them together to the Atzilut. And when we're saying LaHashem, it will be all of the worlds together to the light of the infinity. Okay?
To Yetzirah and beyond.
To above the Atzilut. So you can ask, if we already did it here, so why should we continue praying? Well, that's it. We did it all. Right? There's nothing left. If everything is connected with the light of Hashem, so that's it. We finish, we can close the Siddur and go back home. Why we should stay in the Beit Knesset for another hour or two? What's the answer?
I don't know, but the truth is that sometimes when I woke up like super late, and it was like the time for Shachris was about to end, I would do this I would do like 3-step back, 3-step forward, do this the offerings. Just like that, just like that. And
okay.
Just like imagining, like, okay, so this is like, if this can help me to complete the Amidah in a good time, then so be it. I have to do that. I don't know if it was.
And I'm not taking the question, so I'm not going to answer. But what I do want to say is that everything have different levels. So whatever is the tikkun that we're getting here, whatever is the level of the connection of the unity that we're getting here, that will be preparation of what is coming, what is about to be in the next part of the prayer. Yeah. So few times, not only here, few times through the prayer, we are like looking on the big picture, all what we should do. So what we should do generally is like we're doing here, to connect all the worlds together to the light of Hashem, right? So after we're looking on the big picture, so then we're going back to look on the details, right? So what is the details? That will be the next section, which is the Ktoret. So when we're saying the Ktoret, we're actually going back to the beginning of everything, which is under the world of Asiyah, not even down to the world of Asiyah, under the world of Asiyah, okay? Which is basically the dimension of the klipa, of the negativity. And what we're about to do with the Ktoret is to meditate on pulling out from the negative side, from the klipa, the sparks of the holiness that is giving the klipa the sustenance, giving the klipa the life. So what happens to to the robot that you take out the battery, can't do anything, right? So the same thing here. Those sparks of holiness, this is like the battery of all of the negative structure. So as much as we are pulling the battery out, so there's no power, there's nothing to all of the negative side. So that's why the Ktoret is something that is very, very, very significant. And as much as I will say very, very, it won't be enough. So you can continue to say very, 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 and it won't be enough. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Zohar Parashat Vayikra is speaking length about the praises of whoever will understand the meaning of the Ktoret and say it properly and meditate on that. And that's, I wrote a whole book about the Tikkun Ktoret. Whoever is interested, there's many introductions to that, and there's all kinds of addings on top of that. So what we're doing here in the Siddur every day, this is like the minimum version. Okay, that's like the minimum part of the Ktoret. But if somebody wants to to spend more time, this is like a great segula for many good things, for health and wealth and all the whatever, all people that are suffering from all kinds of different things. The Ktoret is as much as I know, that's the optimum segula. And one of my students that he was mentioning like a couple of weeks ago, he said that it says there in the Zohar that Hashem made a covenant that whoever will say the Ktoret properly, made it on that, will not get harm and this and that and all kinds of extra promises. So there's many people that are running after segulot that righteous people have discovered and revealed, and that's very good. I'm not nothing against it, but the Ktoret is a segula that Hashem revealed, and Hashem is giving the promise about this segula. So no one of the righteous people that I know can say anything after that, right? We have a promise from Hashem that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is telling us. This is what Hashem said. This is what Hashem revealed about the Ktoret. And we can say even more than that. It's very interesting, but there's a midrash that says that obviously Hashem made this revelation, but it came through the angel of death, right? The midrash says that when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai to receive the Torah, so all of the angels gave him presents, and the present that the angel of death gave Moshe Rabbeinu was the secret of the Ktoret. So this is the source that we have. This is the source for the all of these segulot that are related with the Ktoret, is basically coming from Hashem through the angel of death, through Moshe Rabbeinu, to all of Am Yisrael, and specifically, like it says there in the Torah, that there was a plague, and Moshe Rabbeinu sent Aaron with the Ktoret, and that stopped the plague, right? So we see that specifically from all of the segulot of the Ktoret, really the special unique quality of that is to stop plagues, right? So it means that whenever we hear about plagues in the news, we shouldn't wait. It will come any near, God forbid. We should put more strength in saying the Ktoret, right? To stop the plagues. It's not only when it's coming to the doorstep of anyone, Chas v'Shalom. We have to stop it when it's far away. So it's a wake-up call for all of us to wake up a little bit earlier and to spend some more time saying the Ktoret properly, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so now after this long introduction...
Another introduction.
Yes.
When we say the paragraph of the Ktoret, we're extracting the 11 sparks of Kedusha from the world of Klippa. These 11 sparks correspond to 11 ingredients in the Ketoret. As we say this aspect, we are ever so slightly weakening the Klippa's power in the world. When the sparks are completely extracted in the time of Mashiach, the world will be free of Klippa, and pure Kedusha will remain. May it be soon. However, until then, we must each, to the best of our ability, work to break the Klippa's grip on the sparks and minimize its power.
Right? So again, we have 11 ingredients, and those 11 ingredients correspond to 11 sparks, and those 11 sparks is what is giving the sustenance to the negative side of the Klippa. Right? As much as we're saying the Ketoret more with full heart, more meditating on each one of those 11 ingredients, we are using the power that Hashem gave us in our prayer to pull out those sparks from the negative side, and then the result will be that the negative side will diminish by definition. So we don't have to fight. We don't have to fight the negativity. We just have to strengthen our Kedusha, our holiness, and that will pull out those sparks, and then the result will be that the Kedusha loses its power. Right? That's a general understanding. We shouldn't worry about physical wars, because all of the physical wars and the plagues and everything, whatever it is that we are understanding that it's negative in the world, everything is a result of the strength of the Klippa. As much as we're doing our work more properly, the result is the Klippa, the Kedusha goes up and the Klippa goes down. Yeah? As much as we do that, so we will hear less negative news. Rav Avichai, that I learned by him, so he said a few times, if you want to know if you prayed good, so listen to the news after you finish to pray. If you hear about something that is painful, something that is negative, it means you should keep on praying. So it's not just a philosophical idea. It's practical. Yeah, because anything that we hear in the news or from our friends or whatever, it's something that we have to do with it. Right? Otherwise, we wouldn't hear about it. The fact that Hashem turns things around, that we will get certain news, it's to give us the wake-up call to strengthen ourselves and to pray more. Right? Okay.
The reason for reciting the Tamid offerings before Ketoret is understood from Shara Kevanot, of the teachings of the Arizal. By saying this paragraph, we raise up each world one notch, leaving one rung empty in Asiyah. By reciting the Ketoret, we complete this lack and fill it up with the sparks that return to holiness from Klipot Noga. It comes out that the Tamid offering makes way for the sparks that come back through the Ketoret.
Okay, so this paragraph is a little bit more advanced than like the concepts that we bring here. Again, in the Tamid offering, we spoke about an elevation. Okay, so let's say that we have here the four worlds, right? Asiyah, Yetzirah, Bria, Atzilut. So we push everything one step up. Yeah, that's the Tamid, one step up. So here we have a gap. Wherever the Asiyah was, now it's empty. So we're going up, right? So what will be here in that gap? That will be the place where the sparks of holiness comes in. So when we are saying the sparks of holiness that are down in the Klippa section, they are going up to that space that is created by the Tamid offering. Okay?
So you elevate the sparks of that which is under the
Asiyah, you'll elevate them to the space where used to be the Asiyah before you said the Tamid offering.
Okay, so So it becomes like the replacement for the Asiyah, or replacement for Sephira, or
We are elevating everything, all the kedusha,
and you leave a space open for
and that space is part of the domain of the kedusha. So when the sparks are coming up there,
they become
so they are part of they are within the domain of the kedusha.
So you make a great tikkun for the world, because you're removing the sparks of Tumah.
Right, exactly. No, not sparks of Tumah. Sparks of kedusha from the Tumah.
Oh, okay. So there's
You pull them out.
One time I gave a parable for those sparks that is like hostages, captives.
Sure.
So to release those hostages and bring them to a safe zone, right? So that's the first step. That's when we're saying the Torah. Afterwards, obviously there's more work to bring them, to elevate them more, and to that they will really connect with the kedusha and so on and so forth. But first of all, to rescue them and to put them in a safe zone. So that's what we're doing when we're saying the Torah.
the point of the Ketoret, incense, and its 11 spices is to rise up the fallen sparks, which are aspects of Malchut. Therefore, Ketoret, Gematria 715, is the Gematria 11 times of Adne, 65, the name of Malchut, which was damaged due to our sins. Each sin causes holy sparks of light to fall into the klipot. How deep they fall depends upon how serious the offense. Thus, positive energy and certain methods such as these are required to restore them to the good side.
Okay. So again, that goes back to the question of what those sparks of holiness are doing in the klipa, right? So the answer is it's because of the sins from the first sin of Adam HaRishon until our sins, unfortunately, that are happening in the present. Each one of those sins, obviously in different levels, different amount, is putting down sparks of holiness to the klipa, right? As much as we are strengthening our kedusha, so when we're saying the Torah and when we're doing tikkunim and doing all kinds of different good things, mitzvot and so on, we have more strength to pull out more sparks of kedusha from the klipa, right? And that's generally what is done when someone is doing tshuva, right? When someone is like the status of the spiritual status of pre-tshuva, before the tshuva of someone, so his consciousness is within the klipa, and after someone is doing tshuva, his consciousness is elevated out of the klipa, like those sparks that we just said. And then there's a whole long process of elevation, right? As much as we are more investing in Torah, learning, praying, and so on, purifying ourselves, all of the different things that we're speaking about, mikveh and so on and so forth, all of those different things. So we are able to elevate more and more. And then also we are able to bring more sparks of Kedusha from the Klippa back to the Kedusha zone, right? And obviously, it's not, when someone is doing Tshuva, it's not that that's it, he did Tshuva and is like altogether 100% in the safe zone of the Kedusha, because those sparks that are within the Klippa is also part of our being. It's not something that we have that is outside of us. We are here and they are there. No, this is part of us, right? So going back to this parable of captives, so you think about we are like community and we have captives, God forbid. So they are part of us. We are part of them. It's one thing. Can't ignore it, right? So those parts are part of our being. So and the effect is that many times we're getting pulled back, unfortunately, right? So that's what's the reason? Because we are not creating enough of elevation momentum for those sparks. So if we are not pulling them up, God forbid, they are pulling us back. So You see the or. We have to make sure, as much as we can, the help of Hashem, that it will go in the right way of elevation, right? So there's a nice word that I heard many years ago from one of my Chabad friends, that he said that there's three things we're learning from a bicycle. If you're going up, if it's hard, you're going up. If it's easy, you're going down. And if you stay in one place too long, you fall down. So so it fits here very nicely. Yeah, you can't stay in one place. If somebody thinks that he can just stay like okay, that's the level, that's my level, I'm happy what I got to, that's enough for me, I don't have to make so much efforts now. Doesn't work this way. We have to all the time to fight, to achieve more, to do more things, to bring more revelation of Hashem to the world. Can't stay in one place. Somebody that is think that is staying in one place, the default will be to fall down. God forbid.
The Zohar, in the portion of Vayakel, goes into great detail and praises about saying the Torah. It is written that Hashem made a decree that anyone who contemplates and reads the letters of the portion of Ketores will be saved from curses, black magic, any harm, bad thoughts, bad judgment, and death, and the negative forces will not be able to affect him.
So again, all of those and many more negative things that are going on in the world, it all goes back to getting the negative side is getting the nourishment from those sparks, right? Very simple. So we want to pulling out this battery, so the result is the negative side loses its power, and then all of those different things lose their power, right? And we have many stories, many examples that we can give for this principle, but I'll just say one that it's brought down in the Gemara about Rabbi Hanina ben Dusa, that he was one of the highest righteous people that there was. That there was a lady that she was like a black magic lady, that she was trying to do her stuff on him, and he said he didn't care. She was trying to grab some kind of the soul that he stepped on to use it to do some kind of black magic on him. And he said, "You want the soul I stepped on? Take." No problem. And because he knew that she can't do anything to him because he was so holy. So those negative things of black magic or anything else wouldn't have an effect. Okay? Why? Because he didn't have sparks in the klipa. Yeah? This is very simple. When someone have sparks of his soul in the klipa, so the negative side have power over him, right? As much as you are pulling out the sparks that of yourself that are within the klipa, so there's a whatever a negative nation that is trying to do something. If they have captives, so then we have to deal with them. We have to release the captives. If they don't have captives, so jump up and down all day long. It's nothing to do with me. I don't care about it, right? So as much as we are saying the Torah and doing tshuva, tikkunim, all of those different things, so all of the negative things will not have an effect over us. Why? Because we have nothing to do with it. They are there and we are here. Right?
Furthermore, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, if people only knew how lofty is the order of the Ketores, they would take each word, make it into a golden crown, and place it on their heads. The order of preparing the Ketores should be recited from words written on parchment. If one reads it with intention every day, he merits to have a portion in the world and the next. Do not pronounce the divine names in parentheses out loud, ever. Just meditate on them.
Okay? So this is the introduction of the Ketores. Then within this prayer of the Ktoret. So, like we said here, there's a few holy names. Obviously, there's many more in the full book of the Tikkun Ktoret. There's many more, but this is just a few of them. So, whatever is here in the brackets, that's for the meditations. And when you're getting to the 11 ingredients, which is the main point of the whole prayer of the Ktoret, so it's important, the Rashash says, to count them with your right hand. Okay? Atzuri v'atzipor v'nachelbana v'levana. To count
if
it.
you're left-handed.
If you're left-handed, so with the left. Yeah.
So
So the Rashash says that to do that, to count it in the right hand, it's a segula for tshuva. Okay, that's the words of the Rashash. So I'm adding of all what we said until now in this introduction, that when we say tshuva, it means all of what we spoke about, right? When we're doing tshuva, it means that we elevated those parts of our being that are captive within the negative side back to the safe zone of the Kedusha, and the result of that all of the negative side will not have an effect on us, right? So it's worth it to do this extra thing of counting those 11 ingredients with their fingers. Okay. I have a friend that is doing it with the like joints of the finger. I don't know why, but that's one of the Mekubalim from Betel. I saw him that he's doing that. I'm doing it with the fingers. Anyhow.
So you count each word, or you count the name when you say the names?
Atzuri is one. Atziporen, Chelbana, Valevona, right? You have the letters Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and you have the words of Keter, Yesod.
You count
right?
11, right?
So you count the 11, right, until you Aleph with the Kinamon, and each one of them is one of the holy sparks that is related to one of the Sfirot, right? And we have 10 Sfirot. We have 11 ingredients. So the extra one is within the word Ve'alevona is the surrounding light, or Makif.
That's not the Keter? Isn't the direct relationship between the two?
No, the Keter is Tzuri. Anyhow.
No, but how does the Keter relate with the surrounding light? I thought the Keter was sort of part of the surrounding.
Okay, it is related, but it's not right here. It's not a subject matter, so I don't want to go into that. But the point is that we have 11 ingredients, which is the 10 Sfirot plus the surrounding light that surrounds the 10 Sfirot. Okay, the order here is misorder, as you see. There's many deep secrets to explain like the order here. We're not going to go into that, but as much as you can meditate on that and go into that, you will benefit Bezrat Hashem physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Bezrat Hashem. L'chaim tovim u'l'shalom. Blessings for everybody. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.